Hey everyone. So for chapter 8, all about employee benefits. As you remember, back in chapter 7 we talked about wages, and now we're talking about employee benefits. Because all of us, for most of us, not everybody, but for most of us, we work for two reasons: one to get paid, and one to have benefits. So again, chapter 7 we talked about the wage and different salary issues. So for this chapter, we're talking about benefits. And again, just a couple of quick points that I want you to know for this chapter. The main thing that I want you to know is what we call the legally required benefits. Contrary to popular belief, there's only three benefits that every employer in every industry and everywhere in the country is required to give. Everything else is optional. So, people think, you have to give people time off for vacation, or sick days and holidays. Technically, that's not the case. Those aren't legally required to be given. The only three that are legally required are unemployment insurance, workers' compensation, and Social Security. So, unemployment, workers' compensation, and Social Security. Those are the only three legally required benefits. If you do, I want to make sure that you definitely know that. Again, everything else is optional, and especially from a union perspective, everything else beyond those three have to be bargained for. Table 8-1 in your textbook talks about benefit issues. And again, again, it's a really good table to kind of talk about the different, how benefits are defined from several different perspectives. So again, make sure you pay attention to table 8-1. And the other main thing that I want you to know for this chapter is about the different types of retirement plans. Obviously, we have the medical side, and then when you retire, how do you get paid in retirement? Well, there's, from a union perspective and a collective bargaining agreement, there's usually two ways to look at it: from defined benefit or defined contribution. Defined benefit is kind of another way of saying a pension. You work for 30 years at a company, and then you retire. The company will pay you a certain amount every month, until you die. So that's kind of your traditional pension. Pensions are very, very popular in unionized environments, and that's the way they've always been. The other idea is the defined contribution, which is more, think of that basically as a 401k or a 403b if you work in nonprofits. So again, those tend to, those are less common in unions, but much more common in the general non-unionized workplace. Where you put money into a 401k or a Roth IRA and things like that to save for retirement. So again, defined benefit, much more popular in unionized environments. Defined contribution, much more popular in non-unionized environments. And then everything else that's discussed in this chapter, things like severance pay, supplemental benefits, wellness programs, employee assistance programs, holidays, sick leave. There's a small section on each one of those in your textbook. Again, read through those so at least you know what they are. But again, I'm not going to, on the final exam, I won't, tell me all about all these different benefits and, and how they can be negotiated. I just think it's important for you to know these are the types of things that whenever unions and companies are negotiating as far as benefits, these are the main things that they negotiate about. So, but again, you don't have to worry about this being a final exam question, because it won't be. But again, it's important to know how these things work together. So, all right. Again, chapter 7 and 8, great examples of of the details that employees are looking for when they negotiate. So yeah, thanks everyone, and we'll see you for chapter 9.